Well, hello everyone. Here to show you the 48 colors of the water here. As you see right here is it with 48 colors. Is it talking about is like you got right here is a variety of colors. Is like with the blue and then along with the pink and then the brown and of course with red and then along with the few other say colors. You got the peach it is but then yeah along with the say pink it is. But anyway but you have a variety of choices of colors, and then knowing about if I wanted to go ahead and pick one or two of them, is I can go ahead and start out right here, say maybe a little bit with the green. Is it talking about? It's like adding detail right here for the picture. Is I went ahead and drew this picture right here. Of course, I didn't take the picture, and it's like yeah. I would probably say if I were to pick a location for where this could have been taken, it's like knowing about that if it was Rhode Island or Bahamas or anything like that. But other than that you have right here is with a variety of colors, and basically talking about with 48 colors of the water is basically is like that. I remember whenever I was young, it was that I of course whenever I got older that I was afraid of the water. Was that went out especially and like the theme parks that they would have like places where there would be places where there was water, and I even remember that went to the water park, and then of course that I the water was too deep apparently. I don't know if it was the fact that I didn't know how to swim or didn't know what was going on, but apparently that the water was, I guess it was too shallow or something like that, and I couldn't swim in it. And of course it's like you had my mom and dad, of course they went ahead and it's like went into the pool just to pull me out. But other than that is knowing about that. But I remember whenever I was young that about with water that was swimming, that for whatever reason that the water, either shallow water, it's like the water that either shallows, like either it was didn't know if it was clean or not, or the fact about knowing about with the water is that how deep it was. That I remember that over there at the place called the Recplex, it was that I remember that there was a recreation center that you can go to work out, and of course they had a swimming pool there. And I remember that the part, I think that the deepest layer of water that you could swim at was more likely about 8 feet deep. I think it was 7 or 8 feet deep, something like that, if I can remember right. That's how deep the water was. And I remember that a lot of times that there was a part. I would just go ahead and point out. It's like for like an example, if there was this part right here that was only about maybe 2 feet deep, and then this part right here further on, was about 8 feet deep, something like that. And a lot of times it's like I would usually stay in the areas where they would only be about 2 feet deep, because I guess you say that they're kind of like out the ocean or the lakes or whatever you call it, that the more likely that you would have it to where one part of say of the layer of oceanary waters it was not so deep, but then the further you go then the deeper it is. And a lot of times is knowing about that if you have that capability to where if you can swim, that you be able to keep your head above water, it is. And all of the details right here with the fish, and then guys with the shark, and of course that I add some detail right here. It's like with the shark, I didn't add all the teeth, and then of course too much of the fins and stuff like that. It's like knowing about it's like how to swim, but anyway, I of course what you would usually see on one of those movies, like maybe Jaws, or maybe it's like you have the shark tech movies or anything like that. But other than that, is knowing about is that which I even heard that some of those of course are even true stories, which I would probably think about is that a lot of people would probably think about is to keep them out of the water, is just by knowing about is that don't go into areas in the water where more likely that there will be what you call that so-called sea monster in the water. It's like I wonder if there's a monster underneath my bed or anything like that. And I remember whenever I was young that I kind of thought that more likely that there was there was a monster underneath my bed or anything like that. But knowing about, yeah, that whenever I went down to see to the Lake of the Ozark back whenever I was young, to just do some fishing it was. And if I can remember right, I don't think I caught a fish because I had a toy fishing pole. Let's say by shape, say Mickey Mouse it is. But it's like if you were to go scuba diving, it's like if you were to, it's like maybe draw. It's like you got a float right here, like a life raft. So there would be like a scuba diver, and about right down here is knowing that like you have the scuba diving equipment right here, and which I never used one before, but I guess if you have like an air tank that straps to the person's back for air, and then of course knowing about it's like whenever they're down in the ocean, it's like doing some diving. It is that you got the scuba diver uniform on, it's like you got with the bubbles and stuff. Like with the scuba diving uniform, and it's like if there would be any type of scuba diving, is you would blow you would breathe through the tube, and then of course and then I heard that you blow. It's like just the inhale and exhale. It's like knowing about how to breathe to the oxygen tank it is for the scuba diving. It's like, but other than that they have right here is, I'll go ahead and put in the details right here for the life raft. But other than that is knowing about that, the things that more likely maybe the 48 things that you can think about that you'll be afraid to do in your lifetime. It is so far as maybe I don't know about doing a stunt, but I would probably say that maybe going out in the open water. It is that knowing exactly where you're going, and I would probably say that I haven't been out in the open, not on the ocean, but anybody who has that knowing about this is that I would assume that they could probably think about, depending on where you are, that knowing about it's like the location it is, knowing about if you can recognize about what sea waters are, about if there's any ships or nearby, or it's like if there's any type of a three-way radio. It is communication radio. It is just to notify anybody that it's like that if you're out there or not. But other than that anybody who goes out there at sea, I would probably think about is that that more likely if you say there may be a time to where you may get lost at some point, knowing about whatever part of the sea that you're located on. But then on the other hand too, that knowing about is like that knowing about how it's handled it is. And a lot of times besides the ocean, of course it could be, it's like air travel, anything like that. If you think that you're going to get lost, is knowing about is that your surroundings, be aware of your surroundings also. But other than that, is talking about with the 48 colors, is talking about in maybe 48 ways. Is like to be able to know about how to make the artistic art, detailed, say, but realistic it is. And of course, if I were to see, put a little bit of red right here. And if I were to say draw like maybe a pink fish, it's like maybe like what you call it, it's like maybe one of those fish that maybe you would probably maybe see, say maybe somewhere like Australia or whatever. You guys like the fins right there, then you got the head right here, knowing about whatever type of fish. It's like if it's a jellyel fish or a jellica fish or anything like that. But other than that, knowing about it's like the type of things that you would be able to see, say underwater it is. And knowing about that, a lot of people will probably think about is that they won't be visible that easily. If fishermen, about this, like a lot of times it would be like what you call with the dark blue on the top it is. And knowing about if I want to go ahead and add a little bit of say dark gray, it is the color of it. Anyway, knowing about is like ways to make water realistic. A lot of times it's like you see blue or green or so for the color of water it is. But on the other hand too, that knowing about is like the way you swim is that if you were to swim, then more likely is to keep to keep your hands and your feet in motion, and then you say other than what you say is dog pedal, but other than that it's like keep your hands in motion. And then of course it's like allow your body to to swave underwater, to be able to bring your body back up, above water. It is back up, you say that above, say the obturator line or something like that. It's like, talk about the line that from where you are from between being underwater and being helping your head being above water. Of course, I learned that in health class. It's knowing about with the calculator, knowing about it's like how many feet, say inches or whatever you call square yards equal to the full ocean, and maybe how deep the water is. But other than that is knowing about, it's like if you were afraid of the water, is knowing that a lot of things to be afraid of, but then on the other hand too, that at least be proud for trying, and then be proud for the work that that was accomplished. But other than that, it's talking about right there, it's like for 48 colors of the watercoloring.